so this is my film summary for Sexy Baby. And what this film kind of covers is sexuality in the cyber age. So I think this is a really important topic. I thought that the film itself was kind of all over the place, but that's a different matter entirely. Um, but basically, what it does is it goes around and it follows three women who have all been affected by the hypersexualization that is found everywhere, especially on the internet. One is a 12-year-old girl at the beginning of the film. I think by the end she's 14. She's probably the most interesting. And then there's a 22-year-old, and the reason she's in the movie is because she wants a more normal vagina. So she decides to get labiaplasty. And then the last woman is a 38-year-old who is an ex-porn star who is deciding that she wants to have children. I thought this was a really interesting movie, especially with Winifred, who is the 12-year-old. She is interesting to see how this cyber world, because you saw the changes that took place in her from over the course of the film, and you kind of got to see how all these different things on the internet or things in the world affected her. Like, it was interesting to see how Facebook kind of did something to her, and how she really liked Lady Gaga, and so that was another thing. And you just kind of saw it make these serious changes or small but serious changes in her worldview and how she sees herself. So I think she was probably the most interesting, and just because I've gone through it, I've been where she is, and it's almost like I see myself in her, and I think that's why I thought she was the most interesting. Then there's the ex-porn star, and with her trying to have a baby, it's kind of interesting to see how she wants to bring that into the world, and how she herself is a product of this hypersexualization and wants to bring a baby and doesn't know how to handle it. And her husband, who used to be in the porn industry as well, doesn't know how to handle it either. And then, like I said before, the 22-year-old who decides to get labiaplasty, I thought, was one of the most empty characters. But I think she might have had one of the biggest impacts, because when I was watching it, I started thinking about genital mutilation, not mutation, Jesus, that takes place a lot in the Middle East, and is a practice that they do there, and it's just a societal norm in some places, obviously not everywhere. But what really got me about this girl is that she was basically electing to have her genitals mutilated, and obviously not in the same way as it is there. She's not being forced, it's her choice, but it's similar in the way that she's doing it for a societal norm, because she doesn't feel normal down there. And that, I don't know, that we are going to the point of cutting ourselves in order to be satisfactory to other people. And the biggest part of that is that these people that she's trying to please, like, normally I think the average number of sexual partners in a person's life is like 9 people. And so normally you probably wouldn't see that many vaginas. But because of porn and because of internet porn, she said that a lot of her boyfriends and guy friends talked about it, and they were talking about like meat or curtains and just things that are totally ridiculous that shouldn't matter. Really, they shouldn't, like, at all. And I think it's fine to get something like that, but it really made a big impact on me. And I mean, I like this topic, because it definitely, I can relate to it as a woman in the cyber age, of seeing other girls who are perfect all the time and not being perfect or being perfect. You know, being it's hard and I get it. And I mean, it definitely was a powerful thing to see how it affects all these other people and be able to not feel so alone. Um, like I said, I really like this movie. I feel like it could have had a more clear narrative. Um, but overall, it was pretty good. I think that when we start talking about how we're going to make a change and what our options are, we have to. It it really comes down to just realizing that it's hard. It's going to be a big long battle of it, what we see because I'm not a big fan of censorship, so I don't want to say that. I just think it's about educating people, and I'll always say that. But it's about taking it upon yourself to say, "Hey, do you realize this actually hurts women? They're literally hurting themselves in order to fit into this thing that you are wanting." And when you are watching these things online, this internet pornography, it is creating unrealistic. It's complete objectification. And if we as a society valued women based more on who they were than how they looked, then we wouldn't have any of these problems. But yeah, I think self responsibility is just saying that you're not gonna let yourself fall into that, even though it's so hard. It's so difficult to say that I'm good enough in this society that tells nobody they're good enough. Not even the supermodels that get airbrushed to La La Land. um, it's just saying that it's trying to help other people realize that nobody is perfect, but that we're all perfect in our imperfections. And yeah, anyway, so this is my summary for Sexy Baby. I hope you liked it.